Hi, Orlando Auto Accident Attorney Michael T. Gibson here, and I just finished watching the 60 Minutes piece that aired this Sunday on quote-unquote rampant fraud and abuse in the Social Security system. And the reason I was tuned into this report, when I heard about it, it sounded 100% like something I've heard in Tallahassee regarding auto insurance claims and auto insurance attorneys. And that is that there is rampant fraud and abuse in the system, and that basically claimants are playing the system along with their attorneys, and thus benefits are being paid illegitimately. Let me start to explain some of the problems with this logic. And first off, I'm not saying that what you saw in the report with the attorney is right. It isn't. People who game the system, whether they're a claimant or a lawyer, should be prosecuted and punished to the fullest extent of the law. The problem is, from my experience, there are only about 10% or much, much less. In fact, in the auto insurance context, it's 0.06%. 0.06%, less than 1% of all claims involve actual insurance fraud. Actual fraud. Here's what fraud is to an insurance company and to the senator from Oklahoma. Fraud is anyone who makes a claim and needs treatment. That's what I've seen in Tallahassee, Florida from the insurance industry. That's how I see them treat folks in practice. And that's what the good senator's argument is, apparently, if you're making an application for Social Security disability. Some facts about disability, and again, I don't practice disability law, so I have no dog in this fight or in this hunt or whatever you want to call it. They didn't talk about how 80% of all claimants, folks with cancer, folks with terminally ill diseases, folks with devastating loss of limbs, 80% of those folks get denied. And here's an idea, Congress, if you ever all decide to work again. If you wanted to fix the system, why not approve more of the legitimate claims at the start? Instead, just like an insurance company in an auto accident case, they make you duke it out for a year to 2 years, have to hire someone like me just to get your voice heard. Did you know that 80% of all Social Security cases are then approved at the hearing stage? So 80% of the time, the government's wrong. Why not fix that? Wouldn't getting the legitimate claims approved earlier eliminate the need to pay claimants' attorney's fees? Same thing in the auto insurance context. If an insurance company just did what they were supposed to do, there wouldn't be any darn lawyers, and there wouldn't be any darn lawyer fees being paid. But instead, they don't do something right, and then they go to the media and Steve Croft and all these other folks with a sexy story of how everyone's fraudulent and the system is bogus, and there you go, a 20-minute piece. Listen, I have zero tolerance and or love for anyone who commits fraud of any type, whether it be auto insurance, life insurance, Social Security, or what have you. If you commit fraud, I hope you go to jail and suffer the consequences for your action, because your actions are what end up on reports like this and ruin it for the rest of the whole. But I'm here to tell you, I've done this long enough to know that that very, very small percentage of fraudulent claims is what gets put on TV, is what gets blown up into a manufactured crisis for political purposes to screw the rest of you all. That's what they're trying to do. Screw the legitimately injured person. And that just isn't right, and that makes me upset. So here's the real crisis in this country. The real crisis, as we've seen over the last 2 weeks, is we have a Congress that doesn't even do what our tax money is paying them to do, which is work together, is that we are so polarized and divided. There is no more yin and yang, right and wrong. It is my way or the highway. That's Democrats, Republicans, insurance companies, trial lawyers. And until we figure out how to all play together in the sandbox, and the fact that one ideology is not better than the other, and the fact that you need both, you need insurance companies, you need trial lawyers, you need disability judges, you need disability lawyers, we're not going to get anywhere. Again, if you know someone committing insurance fraud, I'd turn them into the state, because if you're hurt someday, they're hurting your case right now. They're taking money out of your pocket. That part I agree with the story on. The rest of it, think about the source. Think about who's telling the story. And again, the government, the insurance companies, I'm going to submit to you that 80-90% of the time, they can fix their own problems. As you can see, we have a lot of fun here, and it's a beautiful world that we deal in. Know this: if you're injured or you're hurt or you become disabled as a result of a car accident,